Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about something that holds more people back than any obstacle in the world: self-doubt. How many of us have stopped ourselves from going after something we truly wanted just because that little voice in our head whispered, "You're not good enough"? How often have we dimmed our own light because we were afraid we wouldn't shine as bright as someone else? It's time to stop doubting yourself, because the truth is, you are capable, you are worthy, you are enough. Self-doubt is a liar. It disguises itself as humility, but it's really just fear in costume. It tells you not to try because you might fail. It tells you not to dream too big because it might not happen. But here's the thing, every great achievement in this world started with belief. Belief that even though the road might be tough, the destination is worth it. Belief that every step forward, no matter how small, matters. And belief that with the right mindset, you can shape your reality. And that's where positivity comes in. Positivity isn't about ignoring your problems. It's about facing them with the attitude that you can overcome them. It's about believing that setbacks are setups for comebacks. That failure isn't the end, it's feedback. When you embrace positivity, you become unstoppable. You attract better energy, you make better decisions, you start showing up for yourself in a way you never have before. Self-doubt is the biggest barrier to personal success because it quietly creeps into our thoughts and convinces us that we're not good enough long before we've even tried. It doesn't show up with flashing warning signs. It whispers in our minds when we're about to step outside our comfort zone. It makes us question our ideas, our talents, and even our worth. It tells us that we are not ready, that we need more experience, more confidence, more validation, when in reality, all we need is belief in ourselves. This internal dialogue often becomes a habit, one that limits us without us realizing. We start playing small, holding back from opportunities and letting fear steer the wheel. We compare ourselves to others, thinking they have something we don't, when the truth is they just chose not to listen to the same doubts we're giving power to. When self-doubt runs the show, even the most skilled person can feel unqualified. It doesn't matter how much talent, intelligence, or potential you have. If you don't believe in yourself, it all gets buried under hesitation and second-guessing. You begin to settle for less, not because you're incapable, but because you convince yourself that aiming higher would lead to failure. But success isn't about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about showing up despite the fear. It's about trusting that you'll figure it out as you go. And that can only happen when you begin to challenge that self-doubt and recognize it for what it is, a mental roadblock, not a reflection of your ability. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones without fear, they are the ones who don't let doubt stop them. You are capable, worthy, and enough just as you are. This isn't just a feel-good statement, it's a fundamental truth that so many of us forget, especially when we're surrounded by pressures to be more, do more, or prove ourselves constantly. We live in a world that often measures our value based on external achievements, titles, followers, wealth, or how busy we are. And in chasing those metrics, we can lose sight of the fact that our worth isn't tied to any of those things. Being capable means that you already have within you the tools to grow, learn, and overcome. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to wait until you've reached some imaginary level of perfection. Your ability to evolve, adapt, and rise to a challenge is what makes you capable, not how polished or flawless you seem. Worthiness isn't something you earn through performance, it's something you inherently have. Just by being human, by existing, you are worthy of love, respect, opportunity, and success. Too often we tie our worth to accomplishments or validation from others. But the truth is, none of those things can define you. And being enough doesn't mean you're done growing. It means that right now, in this very moment, you have enough strength, enough heart, and enough purpose to take the next step. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit into what others expect. You don't have to wait until you've fixed every flaw or silenced every doubt. You can be a work in progress and still be complete. Believing that you are enough doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you grounded. It helps you walk through life knowing that your voice matters, your dreams are valid, and you belong in the spaces you step into. You don't need to apologize for taking up space. You don't need permission to shine. You just need to remember that everything you are right now is already powerful. Self-doubt often disguises itself as caution or humility, which is why it's so hard to recognize and even harder to challenge. It doesn't always show up loudly or aggressively. Sometimes it wears a mask that makes it seem reasonable, even responsible. It tells you that you're just being realistic, that you don't want to get your hopes up, that it's safer not to try than to risk failing. It sounds like you're just protecting yourself, when in reality, you're holding yourself back. It can even feel like humility. You downplay your talents, brush off compliments, and tell yourself you're not that special because you don't want to seem arrogant. But there's a difference between being humble and denying your own potential. Humility is about staying grounded and open to learning. It's not about pretending you are less than you are. When self-doubt cloaks itself in humility, it convinces you that confidence is somehow a bad thing, that believing in yourself too much is boastful, or that wanting more is selfish. This disguise is dangerous because it feels so rational. You might tell yourself you're just being careful, not impulsive, that you're waiting for the right time, the right skill set, the right sign, but often that waiting is fear in disguise. And the longer you wait, the more you reinforce the belief that you're not ready or not worthy. The truth is, growth doesn't happen in comfort, and success rarely comes to those who wait until everything feels safe. It comes to those who take bold, imperfect action. But when self-doubt is dressed up as yogi, you might not even realize that it's stopping you from taking those steps. You'll convince yourself it's just not practical, or that other people are better suited for the opportunity. You'll see other people doing what you dream of, and you'll assume they're just naturally more talented or confident, when in reality they probably felt the same fear, but moved forward anyway. That's why it's so important to examine the stories you tell yourself. When you catch yourself playing small under the guise of humility or caution, ask, is this truly wisdom speaking, or is it fear pretending to protect me? Being able to recognize the voice of self-doubt, even when it sounds reasonable, is one of the most powerful forms of self-awareness you can develop. Belief in yourself is the foundation of all great achievements, because every success story you've ever heard, every breakthrough, every innovation, every triumph, it all started with someone deciding to try. Not because they were guaranteed success, but because they believed it was worth pursuing. That belief isn't about arrogance or blind optimism. It's the quiet confidence that says, I can figure this out, even when the path isn't clear. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself permission to begin. You take the first step, even if it's shaky, because belief gives you the courage to act. And action is what creates progress. Every skill, every level of confidence, every ounce of momentum starts with the decision to try. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you won't struggle. It doesn't mean the journey will be easy, but it means you'll keep going, even when it gets hard, because deep down, you trust that you have what it takes to make it through. People often wait for the belief to come after the achievement. They think, once I get the job, the promotion, the applause, then I'll believe I'm good enough. But it doesn't work that way. The belief has to come first. It's the engine that fuels the effort. Without it, your motivation runs dry. The moment things get difficult, you start doubting your abilities, second-guessing your decisions, and eventually you talk yourself out of continuing. But when you have that inner belief, you see setbacks as part of the process, not the end of it. You understand that growth takes time, and you're willing to keep learning, adjusting, and moving forward. That mindset is what separates those who achieve from those who stay stuck. Not talent, not luck, not perfect conditions, just belief. It's what makes people step onto stages, submit that manuscript, start that business, ask for that opportunity, or take that leap into the unknown. It's what keeps them moving, even when no one else claps, even when the results take time. It's what allows them to take up space in rooms they once thought they didn't belong in, because they realize their value isn't up for debate. They own their journey because they believe it matters. Positivity is a powerful mindset, not denial, but resilience. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it's not, or forcing a fake smile when you're hurting. True positivity is deeper than surface-level optimism. It's a deliberate choice to focus on what you can control, to search for meaning in challenges, and to believe that better days are possible, even when you are walking through darkness. It's not naive, it's strong. It's the kind of strength that says, this is hard, but I can handle it, instead of this is hard, so I'll give up. Too often, people mistake positivity for toxic cheerfulness, as if it means you should ignore your pain or suppress your emotions. But real positivity isn't about ignoring problems. It's about facing them with courage and hope. It means choosing to believe that your setbacks don't define you, that your struggles won't last forever, and that even when things fall apart, you have the ability to rebuild. It's the mindset that helps you see failure not as a dead end, but as feedback. It turns obstacles into lessons and lessons into growth. When you adopt a positive mindset, you begin to shift your perspective. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? You stop seeing challenges as personal attacks and start seeing them as part of the process that shapes you into someone stronger. That shift in thinking doesn't make your problems disappear, but it gives you the emotional resilience to rise above them. It builds mental toughness, helps you bounce back faster, and keeps you from getting stuck in cycles of negativity. Positivity also changes how you show up in the world. When you carry a hopeful, empowered attitude, it affects the energy you bring into every room, every conversation, every goal. People feel it. You feel it. It builds confidence. It attracts better relationships. It helps you make better decisions because you're no longer reacting from fear or frustration. You're responding from clarity and strength. And perhaps most importantly, positivity gives you the endurance to keep going. Life will test you, people will doubt you, circumstances will shift, but a positive mindset anchors you. It reminds you that even in the storm, you still have choice, power, and potential. Every failure is a lesson, not a definition of your worth. Yet so many people carry their failures like permanent labels, allowing a single moment of defeat to become a lifelong identity. But failure at its core is just feedback. It's the universe's way of showing us what didn't work, not who we are. It's not an indictment of your intelligence, your value, or your future. It's a natural part of growth, and if you let it, it can become one of your greatest teachers. The problem is we live in a world that glorifies success but rarely talks about the messy, uncomfortable trial and error path that leads to it. We see the highlights, the wins, the end results, and we forget that behind every victory are countless moments of frustration, rejection, and falling short. But those failures weren't just missteps. They were essential. They sharpened skills, built resilience, and taught the kind of wisdom that only experience can provide. When you start seeing failure as a lesson, you take your power back. You stop internalizing disappointment as proof that you're not good enough, and instead ask, what can I do differently next time? You start approaching challenges with curiosity instead of fear. You become more courageous because you understand that falling down isn't the end. It's simply a step forward with more information than you had before. Think about anyone who has ever done something great, an artist, an athlete, an entrepreneur, a leader. None of them reached their level of excellence by avoiding failure. They embraced it, they expected it, they learned from it. What separates them from the rest isn't luck or genius. It's the decision to try again, armed with insight and experience. Failure doesn't diminish your worth, it reveals your strength. It shows you that you're willing to risk, to care, to aim for something meaningful. That willingness alone is powerful. It means you're engaged in the process of becoming better, stronger, wiser. The more you allow failure to teach you instead of shame you, the more you grow into the version of yourself that's capable of achieving the things you dream of. Positivity helps attract better outcomes and decisions because the mindset you carry influences not just how you feel, but how you act, how you respond, and what you believe is possible. When you approach life with a negative mindset, you're more likely to anticipate the worst, hesitate in the face of opportunity, and make choices based on fear rather than faith. But when you shift to a positive outlook, you start seeing possibilities where you once saw limitations. You begin to believe that things can go right, not just wrong. And that simple change in perspective can reshape your entire path. A positive mindset creates a sense of openness. It allows you to consider new ideas, to be more flexible in your thinking, and to trust that even if things don't go exactly as planned, you have the ability to adapt and move forward. It builds confidence because you're not constantly anticipating failure. You're expecting growth, and that expectation influences how you show up in every decision you make. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal development, positivity helps you choose based on hope and vision instead of fear and doubt. This mindset also affects the kind of energy you project, and that energy has a real impact. People are drawn to those who radiate possibility. They are more likely to support you, collaborate with you, and believe in you when you carry yourself with belief and optimism. It's not about pretending to have it all together, but about showing that you're committed to making things work. That commitment is magnetic. It inspires trust and invites opportunity. Even when things go wrong, a positive mindset helps you recover more quickly. Instead of spiraling into discouragement or blame, you look for the lesson, the silver lining, or the next move. This ability to pivot, to find light in difficult moments, keeps you in motion, and momentum is everything. The more you move forward with positivity, the more opportunities you create because you're willing to take risks, reach out, try again, and keep going, even when things get tough. Your decisions shape your future, and those decisions are shaped by your mindset. When you think positively, you're more likely to make bold, empowered choices. You trust your intuition. You go after what you want. You believe you have something valuable to offer. And that belief, that energy draws better outcomes into your life. Not just by chance, but because your mindset prepared the space for them to exist. You have the power to shape your reality through your attitude. That might sound like a cliche at first, but when you really think about it, it's one of the most empowering truths you can carry with you. Your attitude is the lens through which you experience the world. It colors how you see challenges, how you interpret situations, and how you respond to everything that comes your way. And while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control how you choose to see it, react to it, and grow from it. The way you approach each day, whether with dread or determination, bitterness or gratitude, has a ripple effect. It influences your mood, your energy, your relationships, and your choices. If you carry an attitude of defeat, constantly expecting things to go wrong, you are more likely to miss the opportunities right in front of you. You become focused on the obstacles instead of the opening. On the flip side, when you adopt an attitude of resilience and possibility, you begin to notice doors you never saw before. You begin to act with more intention and courage, which creates momentum and opens up new paths. Your attitude shapes your reality because it dictates what you give your attention to. Two people can face the same circumstance, but the one who chooses to focus on what can be done rather than what can't will naturally find more possibilities, more solutions, and more strength. That choice, repeated over time, transforms the trajectory of your life. It's not magic, and it's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to empower yourself instead of becoming a victim of your circumstances. This shift in perspective doesn't just change how you see the world, it changes how the world sees you. When you walk through life with a mindset of purpose and positivity, people notice. You become someone who brings light into situations, who lifts others up, who inspires action. And when you radiate that kind of energy, it tends to come back to you in unexpected ways, through new connections, opportunities, and experiences that align with the energy you've chosen to embody. At its core, attitude is a daily decision. It's a mental habit. It's something you strengthen every time you choose patience over frustration, hope over despair, or action over apathy. And over time, those choices begin to build a reality that reflects the strength, vision, and belief you carry within. Surrounding yourself with positive influences reinforces your belief in yourself and helps you stay on track when life gets difficult. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the energy you allow into your space, all of it plays a powerful role in shaping your mindset, whether you realize it or not, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. That's why being intentional about who and what you allow into your life is essential when you're on a journey of growth and self-belief. When you're surrounded by negativity, people who constantly complain, criticize, or doubt, you start to absorb that energy. Their fears start to sound like your fears. Their limitations start to feel like your limitations. And without even knowing it, your dreams start to shrink to fit the size of someone else's comfort zone. It becomes harder to believe in yourself when the voices around you are always telling you what's not possible, what could go wrong, or why it's too late to try. But when you surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and believe in your potential, everything changes. You begin to see yourself through a more empowering lens. Encouragement becomes a mirror, reflecting back to you the strength and value that maybe you forgot you had. Positive influences remind you that it's okay to dream big, to start over, to take chances. They hold space for your growth without judgment. They don't see your efforts as foolish, they see them as brave. It's not just about who cheers for you when you succeed, but who stands beside you when you fail. Positive influences are the ones who don't let you quit on yourself. They're the ones who remind you of your progress when you feel stuck, who celebrate your small wins, and who hold you accountable to the highest version of yourself, not out of pressure, but out of love. And it's not only people. Positive influences can also be books, podcasts, music, or environments that nourish your mind and spirit. What you consume daily matters. What you listen to, what you read, what you repeat in your own mind, these are the bricks that build your inner world. So when that world is built on positive, affirming, and encouraging influences, it becomes a solid foundation. It's easier to believe in yourself when you're not doing it in isolation. When your circle echoes that belief back to you, reinforces it, and helps it grow louder than your doubts. Choosing your influences with care isn't selfish, it's necessary. You're not just protecting your peace, you're protecting your purpose. You're creating an ecosystem that supports your evolution, where your dreams are nurtured, not dismissed. That environment doesn't guarantee a smooth journey, but it gives you the strength, support, and encouragement to keep moving forward even when the road gets tough. Your mind is a powerful tool, and just like any tool, it works best when it's sharpened and maintained. If you constantly feed it negativity, doubt, or self-criticism, it becomes dull and less effective at helping you navigate the challenges of life. But when you intentionally cultivate a mindset of positivity and self-belief, your mind becomes a sharp, clear instrument that can work through problems, find solutions, and stay focused on what truly matters. It all starts with the thoughts you choose to entertain. Every thought is like a seed, and the seeds you plant today will shape the reality you experience tomorrow. If you feed your mind thoughts of inadequacy, fear, or limitation, those seeds grow into beliefs that restrict your potential. You begin to internalize the idea that you're not good enough, not deserving enough, or not capable enough to achieve your goals. These thoughts don't just stay in your head, they influence your actions, your decisions, and your willingness to take risks. You might find yourself holding back from opportunities, second-guessing your talents, or quitting too soon because your thoughts have convinced you that success is out of reach. But if you start replacing those negative thoughts with empowering ones, thoughts that affirm your worth, your potential, and your ability to learn and grow, you shift the entire dynamic of your mind. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties you face or pretending challenges don't exist. It means choosing to believe that every setback is an opportunity to learn, not a confirmation that you're not capable. The way you think also influences your emotions. When you focus on the positive and practice self-belief, you naturally begin to feel more hopeful, more empowered, and more excited about the future. This emotional shift doesn't mean you're immune to struggles. It means you're better equipped to handle them. With the right mindset, you approach challenges with optimism and resilience instead of fear and avoidance. This makes you more likely to take bold action, to keep going when things get hard, and to see each day as a new opportunity for growth. Training your mind to believe in the power of positivity is like building a muscle. It takes practice, patience, and consistency. At first, it might feel unnatural, especially if you're used to self-doubt or negative thinking. But over time, as you consciously choose thoughts that empower you, your mindset will shift. and it will become easier to think positively. The more you feed your mind with affirmations, inspiration, and the belief that you can achieve great things, the more your mindset will start to reflect that truth. Your mind will become a constant source of motivation and clarity instead of a place of fear and doubt. And when your mind is aligned with positivity, the rest of your life follows suit. You make better decisions, you're more resilient in the face of adversity, and you attract opportunities that align with your newfound belief in yourself. Ultimately, the way you think shapes the life you live. By consciously choosing thoughts that lift you up, support your goals, and reinforce your self-worth, you are creating a powerful foundation for success and fulfillment. In conclusion, believe in yourself and the power of positivity, for it is the key to unlocking your fullest potential. Your thoughts, actions, and mindset are the building blocks of your future. Every challenge you face, every setback you encounter is merely an opportunity in disguise, a stepping stone on the path to your growth and success. Embrace the power of positive thinking, surround yourself with those who uplift and support you, and trust that you have the strength to overcome anything that comes your way. When you stop doubting yourself and start believing in your abilities, you'll be amazed at the heights you can reach. Keep moving forward, stay hopeful, and always remember, your belief in yourself is the greatest power you can possess.